What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Game On with Sabina as we continue speaking everything football. Speaking the sports that I love, speaking the sport that you love, and I hope you guys are gonna have like an amazing time with me today. So today, guys, we're gonna talk about. Okay, I am gonna give you my top 10 youngest players that I feel like we need to start looking into. They've already set their names out there. Some of us we very much are aware of, and some of us we actually have our favorites right now. And we're gonna talk about the youngest players that are surfing out, because I was thinking about this other time that we look at the likes of Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi, who've always been the greatest of all time, and the era is it's here. And you know what, guys, they are moving out, and we have these youngest players. Who do you think has the ability to be the next greatest of all time? Do you guys still think it's Mbappe? Do you look at these young players who are coming through? We're talking about the likes of Jamal. We're talking about the likes of Haaland. We're talking about the likes of Fodi. Do you see any other greatest of all time that is coming through into your space? So guys, today I'm gonna give you my top 10. But I don't think it's not in order, because first of all, it was so difficult, guys, to actually rank them in order and who's the best, who I feel like needs to rank number one in my top best order. That's why I decided that whoever I'm gonna speak, these top 10 of the youngest players that I feel like we need to look into, especially in Champions League and also in the leagues, and also what we can look for when we're going to the FIFA World Cup. So I did not put them in order. I tried getting my friend Lindo to help me put this youngest players in order, because it was so difficult, because I didn't want to be biased in whom I need to rank as the topest youngest players so far, because guys, we have so many amazing talents out there and footballers out there who are really surfacing. And with the era of Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi just moving out, we definitely have to have who is, because I think there was a point where we all thought Mbappe and everything, still one of the good players, youngest players ever. He has made a very good impact. So if I did not name one of your players into my top 10, just let me know. Give me what is your top 10, and maybe, who knows, we can redo this, or we can help each other to rank them in who is the best and who to look into the future more, who's gonna change the game of football. But before we can get into my ranking the youngest players ever, guys, now I was thinking about something about the danger that we have right now. We having the North London derby. We also have the Manchester derby. We're all excited too. And your girl is going somewhere like a derby weekend. I don't understand. How did I have plans on a derby? But we're gonna make it work. We have the internet. But guys, you know where the danger is? Something that I'm thinking of. We're talking about Eskom and how Eskom is, they are trying to move to stage 15 or whatever stages that they are always. And I'm like, but do Eskom understand the danger? Do they understand the danger? Guys, imagine us watching the derby. Depends whether on a Saturday or on a Sunday, the Manchester or the North. And then suddenly the game is on fire. It is nice, guys. And then blackout. Take a moment. That's where the danger is, guys, is Eskom. And I'm like, Eskom, please do not. But let's go back to what is important, what the video today it is about is just my topest young players that I feel like we need to look into. They're making an impact in football. So in not particular order. Because I don't want you guys thinking I'm ranking these players based on these are my number one. No, I'm just in non-particular order. So I'm just gonna call up onto as Vinicius Jr. as I think what I'm gonna talk about Vinicius Jr. for me as the reason why I'm putting him as one of the youngest players to actually look into. We look at him, guys, he's been very consistent, especially he's been very consistent, already have the Champions League up his game, the impact that he made, especially last season for Real Madrid to actually win the Champions League. If you look at him, his ability to just dribble and also tackle, and I think that's one of the I always say that's most of the Brazilian players have the skill is to tackle and to dribble, and also he has that pace of just running with the ball. So that combination already makes him a very valuable player in Real Madrid and also in the Brazilian squad. So he's actually fall into my topest top 10 youngest players to look into the World Cup, and also to continue looking. He's going to continue doing better. He's going to continue evolving in Real Madrid, and he has evolved, if you think about it, since he started in Real Madrid. He I think he's able to position himself properly, if you look at him, because if I could remember and recall, one of the games that I really watched more and very in details was when he played against Manchester City, like being able to just like finding positions against like the weakest link. When your defense is really weak and you find those players who are able to just like capture those opportunities and just run with it. And Vinicius Jr. is one of those players who are able to do that, just suck up on opportunities in your weakest link defense. So if you ever, I think he falls into one of the topest players, youngest players. So I don't know what you think about you, but I think Vinicius Jr. is one of the players to look into, and he has proved himself over and over, and he is really consistent. That's one thing that you need a player to be very consistent every time when they play. And secondly, we're going to talk about Phil Foden, guys. I think I can't stress enough, Phil Foden has really improved, guys. I think what I love about Phil Foden is his pace. He has like the ability to just like be quick with the ball and be able to control the ball. What so far I am not keen about him is that he hasn't scored as many goals as I believe he has the potential to score more goals. So he just needs to have that more scoring power, that scoring ability for him to just like continue bringing the topest, youngest players, or bringing the players that are gonna impact the game, the football game, and his ability to just run up the defense, and especially when he's able to do those runs, he's able to counter attack. And I think that's one thing about Phil Foden that I really love, is that he's also a dynamic player. You can just put him in certain positions, and you put him in your right hand when he plays right, or also when he plays left, because we know he's much more better when he plays on the left hand side. But one thing about him is he just needs to score more goals, but he's one of the youngest players that makes a huge impact every time they're in the pitch. And I think that's what I love about him, his pace, his run, and he's able to dribble the ball too. So that's one thing. And also keeping the composure of the ball, that's one thing. That's one of the skills that Phil Foden has. He just needs to make sure, he just needs to improve in his goal scoring, and then he's gonna remain as one of the topest goal scorer. Okay, not goal scorer, guys. But one of the most toughest, youngest players to look into. And my other player to look into, this is my third one. Yes, my third one that we're going to look into. One of the players that we can look into, guys, is Pedri and Gavi. They play for the Barcelona. And I have my friend who is like Lindo. Shout out to Lindo. So Lindo thinks like, whenever we talk to Lindo about this too, is Lindo thinks Pedri and Gavi are like your new Chuo, your Iniesta, or they're more like a replica of Iniesta and Xavi. And guys, if we look into it, we know like that was like the greatest Chuo ever in Barcelona. So I don't know if Barcelona are also trying to replicate the same thing, or trying to, because we know Xavi and also Iniesta, we were like one of the most greatest combination ever. So I don't know if they're trying to do that when it comes to Pedri and also coming to Gavi. But what I can say is these two players have been one of the most also consistent players also. I think one thing I love about them is they always know what to do with the ball. They're always ready, and they always put themselves in positions that they quickly can move the ball and change, the whole dynamics. And another thing I love about Gavi is he's always involved. He's always involved in the game whenever he plays and everything. And they could do better when it comes to their passes and everything. I haven't seen the strength of their passes and everything, but being able to tackle, they can do that. Being able to keep ball position and going forward, most definitely those two players are able and are capable of doing that. And already that's like two of my players. And also we cannot exclude Erling Haaland, guys. Erling Haaland is like the bulldozer of goals. I think one of the things that makes Erling Haaland to stand out is his ability to just score goals, guys. And I think one thing that I love about him is he's always at the right time. he's always at the right position. It's like, guys, he has this thing of attracting goals, attracting goals to just keep going, to keep scoring. And I think also one thing I love about him is he does not actually wait for his teammates to actually make play for him, but he actually makes the play, and he's part of the play himself. He can actually create opportunities to score more goals, and that's one thing I love about him. And also his ability to just like run forward with the ball, and into, if you look at the game that they played with what kind of Wolf, yes. If you look at the games that they played with Wolf, Manchester City played with Wolf, you could see like his ability to just like run against defenders and all that. So I think also he's like physiques, guys, more like more guy giant. So all the giants out there, like, we there's there's advantages sometimes in being like having the physiques for it, because it's not like so easy to actually defend such a player who's able to be in right spaces at the right time. So one of the players that most of you were just gonna go crazy if I messed that on, guys, is definitely Jude Bellingham, guys. He's one of the greatest central attacking midfielder right now, guys. His impact that he does, especially if you've seen the game that he plays against Germany also. And one thing I think I love about him is he's very a dynamic player. He's a very awareness player. When you have a player who's really aware of what's going on in the pitch, his technical awareness, guys, is just like one of the things that's going to make him one of the greatest. Let's see as he's going to continue in the season, and also in the in the FIFA also. But I think he's already shown that he's one of the players that can make a huge impact, guys. He's able to move very fast. He's able to dribble also, and also being able to make space for yourself also. And especially on that counter attack, there's one thing I love about him, and he's able to just like move the ball real quick. Like he has that ability to just like move the ball real quicker. He has like also able to defend too, guys. So if you're gonna have like a player who's able to just like move the ball forward, and be able also to defend also, and just like having that combination about him, and his ability to just like dribble. And I think one of the things that Lindo always like speaks about, loves about him, is his ability to just like break into his own and just like start running on that counter attack, guys. Definitely as a defender, he's really showing threat already. So definitely Jude Bellingham as the player of Donmad, he's already scored in the Champions League already against Manchester City. We've seen the impact that he had also in the Champions League. And also what he does in Donmad, and also in his country. And most definitely he's one of the players right now that most of us football fans we're really excited to look to, and he's gonna continue making the impact. And definitely he's one of my toppest players that deserve to be in my top 10. My other player to look into is Saka, guys. I'm still a fan of Saka, and I think he also still one of the players that can make a very huge impact. He hasn't scored much this season, and but one thing about him that I love is his finish. He's one person that who knows how to finish. He's one player that who's good with the ball. He's one player right now who can just like run through inside. He's one player that can run quickly and also has a pace when he has the ball with him. So most definitely Saka would continue being, I think, the youngest players going to make an impact in Arsenal and also in the England squad. So definitely one of the players to also continue looking into. And my other player, guys, did I name all my players? I don't know how many players have I named already. Another player to look into is Ansu Fati, guys. One of the Barcelona players also to look into is, I think one thing I loved about him is the impact that he makes when he comes to. Normally, if you've seen, Xavi has never started him, but every time when he comes in as a substitute, and especially when Barcelona is really struggling, he has that ability to just change the game, and we've seen that with one of the Barcelona games that he has came through for Barcelona so many times, and actually create space and be able to create opportunities for your other teammates. That's one thing I love about him, and he can work very nicely under pressure. And when you put him like in tight positions, like when you put him in tight position, because not a lot of players are able to just like move out of tight positions, but Ansu Fati has that ability to just like do that. And me as a Barcelona fan, as I think he's one of the players, the youngest players who are gonna get Barcelona where it used to be, and if given more opportunities, more play time, and the impact that he has shown so far, it's always been nice. And also his speed, he has speed. You need players, you need young players who are gonna have speed and have control over the ball. So Ansu Fati also has that, and he's one of the players that I'm including in my top 10. And I think I'm including more Spain and more PR, but it is what it is. You guys tell me which one you think. Also, one of the players that I am gonna include in my top list is, I don't know how many players I've called out so far, is Kamavinga. The French player so far for me, the Real Madrid player, is he can do more also when it comes to scoring. He hasn't done a lot of scorings and everything. He could do more. But having the Champions League also in his career, the Spanish League already, I think also what I love about him is that's one, yeah, that was one of like his, I think I would say his greatest ability, Gakulu, is his ability to just like pass. He has a very a great ability to just like pass the ball and he creates a lot. He's a game player. He's a game player. He's like he's like a playmaker for me. He's one of like, I would consider him as a playmaker. So he one of the youngest players to also, I think I'm including also, whom I feel has improved, whom I feel has actually done a lot also for the team. He can still improve, he can still better, he can still try to score more goals, he can still try to be more impactful and just like be able to move much more further in wild and play different positions also. I think he can also do that. And one of the players also I also like to is the Brazilian player who is he plays for Real Madrid, Rodrigo. One of the youngest player who's doing so well. I think if we look at the impact that he has done so far, the recent impact that he has done so far is also being part of the reason why Real Madrid got into the finals also. If you could look at the game that he played against Manchester City in the Champions League last season, is when he came through, the impact and the change that he made in just a space of time. You need a player that has the ability to create space and ability to just like move and ability to impact the game, and we've seen that also so many times with him. He's one of the players who doesn't also score more, but I think his creativeness and just like being there, also an assistant to his teammates and everything. You need that. You need a player who's able to move and all that and be able to control the ball too. So he could do better with he can do better with more passes, and but I think he also one of the people that I would consider one of the topest youngest players to also continue looking into. And yes, guys, I think I named all my youngest players, but there's a lot of these youngest players that are just coming up too. I know Lindo is gonna kill me for not naming Jamal. I think I'm still, he's really good, and I'm still yet to see him, being a powerhouse. I'm still yet to just like see his contribution in play. So I think I'm like really gonna be so concentrating in making sure that I watch almost all the games, just so that I can see him, especially the Germany games and all that. And also we look at the other players like I think if you look at it in my top 10, I've named more central midfielder, I've named more forwards and everything. But one of the players youngest players we can look into, we can still continue looking to, is Saliba, guys. William Saliba. I think, as you know, it's not a lot of time that we put greatest players as defenders, but it's one player we need to look into. He's really good for Arsenal. He's really helping. He's really making an impact in Arsenal there. He's one of the good defenders, youngest defenders, everything. And I think his skills have improved most drastically. So William Saliba, I think I'm going to include that as one of the defenders so that I can like equilibrium, even if it's still not. We look at the likes of Jacob Ramsey. So there's actually a lot of youngest players. So you let me know which one you think or which players you think I missed out on that was supposed to be in my top 10, but there's like a lot of these young players that are surfacing out, and I think this is the new era of us trying to figure out who has the right, or who will get into being the greatest player of all times. And I know a lot of you will be like, why didn't I not include Mbappe? I don't think Mbappe is getting any younger, guys. I'm sorry to all the Mbappe fans out there. I don't think he's getting any younger. I would have liked Mbappe if he moved to Real Madrid. He's still one of the players that makes a huge impact, especially when, I don't know if you guys watched the international games when they were playing, when France was playing. Mbappe is one, you guys, his pace, his ability to just like move the ball really faster, and he's really dynamic. He can play differently, he can defend. There's one thing about Mbappe is, you cannot take the fact that he's really good and he still makes an impact when he's not part of the game. You actually see the struggle that France do have, and also when PSG. So he's still one of the best youngest players so far, and all these players that I've named, they're still yet to rank, or still yet to just like trying to get where Mbappe here is. So definitely he might not be in my topest 10, because I went like 21, 22, my 19 years, but definitely I think for me, I would have wanted him to like move to Real Madrid and actually see him more in how he's able to adapt, his ability to adapt. But you don't necessarily need to move to another team to be the greatest of all time. You can still be the best in your team. We've seen that with the likes of Lionel Messi, who've been in Barcelona for years but still became the best. So I think we all excited. We still yet to look into the World Cup. Certainly, I think one thing that we can take away from, you look at Haaland, Norway did not make it into the World Cup, so that disadvantages him and everything. But now we're not trying to rank who has more accolades in their team, but it's just me looking to, these are my topest players, youngest players that are just surfacing there. And you guys, let me know whom you think was supposed to be on the list, and if you trust yourself enough to rank them, to say who is the best youngest player to look into the World Cup, into the leagues, go ahead and do that, because I chickened out. I tried asking Lindo to do that. Lindo chickened out. So whoever is not going to be the chicken out there, please put the list accordingly to who you think it is the best among all of them. But we're going to continue seeing the impact that these young players are going to do. So guys, shout out to everyone. Please don't forget to subscribe, to like, and to comment. And most importantly, let's watch the derby. I will be watching the derby on my laptop, where I would be. No, on my phone, where I will be. But let's just like hold hands up that we're not gonna have any problem with load shedding, guys. Like karuka fonela Eskom, please make sure during this time that the derby. Oh yeah, menyana like king tata. What's the problem? Just vakabiki man, but that's how we don't have that relationship with Eskom. Would have been nice if Eskom would do the same, but if they did not do it for Banyana, imagine us asking them to do that for PL. But guys, all the football lovers, enjoy this and let me know what you think. And we're gonna come back. We're gonna talk about the debuts next week, after the games, after this weekend. So guys, let me love you and leave you. Please don't forget to subscribe, to like, and to comment, and to tell your friends and your other friends and your other friends and your girlfriends to just check out Game 1 with Sabino.